Circa tonight. Matt Brown, Steven Andress. Special Christmas edition for you here. Happy holidays to everybody out there. Appreciate you being with us. This is powered by SharpStack. You will see it if you're watching the video side of this multiple different times. If you're just on the audio side, go in, TNF Live, give it a shot. 7 days absolutely free. So you can go in, compare, contrast all the different lines out there. Make sure you're getting the very best of everything, and we cannot recommend it enough. Steven, happy holidays to you and yours, buddy. Glad to be here with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Happy New Year. Another great day over here at Circa Sportsbook Kentucky. Getting ready for week 17, man. Great to be with you again.
Oh, man, did you make a good choice to stay there last week for the game? Oh, my goodness. That you lucked out there, buddy, because I mean, if you'd have been on the road and not have gotten to get in all of that game, that would have been something else.
You know the movie The Sandlot, when they're asking Squints when he kissed Wendy Peppercorn after he played dead next to the pool, and they're asking him, "Did you plan that?" Been planning it for years.
Yeah.
I've been planning that Seahawks Rams, putting the seed in the wife's ear, the thought letting her know. Man, that went beautifully, I gotta say.
It was absolutely beautiful. Well, guys, we have one game left here on Christmas Day. It is the Denver Broncos on the road at the Kansas City Chiefs. And what a different game this is now. This is 13 and a half in favor of the Broncos. Kansas City is going to be entering this. No Gardner Minshew, no Patrick Mahomes. We're going to be getting a guy that I had to Google, Steven, to like figure out who he even was to start at quarterback here. It's a lost season, already dead, out of the playoffs, so nothing to play for whatsoever. You kind of saw that effort from them last week when they lose outright to the Tennessee Titans. By the way, we were all over that one, that was not going to be their best effort. And so the only difference in this one, I will say, is they got to win by 2 touchdowns. And, you know, Denver's the far superior team. Don't get me wrong. But, 14 points in the NFL, it doesn't really matter who's playing quarterback, is still a ton of points.
Is it? In this case, man, what is this Chiefs team? They didn't practice on Monday, I don't think. They are resting everybody. Rashee Rice isn't playing in this game as well. He's got the concussion. No reason to bring him back on a short week. This is 1-2-3 Cancun, man, for the Chiefs. There's nothing left. Cupboard's bare. They just got their butts kicked by the worst team we had seen since 2021 statistically. So, and Denver still has literally everything to play for, including the 1 seed in the AFC. I recall a game similar to this at the end of last season where the Chiefs rested starters and the Broncos went and won 38-0. So this is Broncos or pass for me on the spread. I don't care that it's 13.5. I think you can make the argument that it should be 16.5, 17. I bet Broncos minus 11.5 when this opened. Matt, tell me why anything 13 or better is a bad bet. That's where I'm at with this.
If you guys were wondering, it's Chris Oladukin is going to be the quarterback for
Never heard of him
in this one. South Dakota State. If you were wondering, if it doesn't sound, if you didn't really recognize the name. Oh, by the way, he's 28 years old. Like it feels like this guy should be like a baby because we've never heard of him. He's 28 years old.
It's not even the good Dakota school, man. Like the North Dakotas are the good schools.
Yeah. So, just absolutely unbelievable here that this is the state that we're in with this team. Don't get me wrong. I'm laying it, or it's a lay it or pass. Like there's no way in the world I'm taking the points with the Chiefs. Cause again, this is like if last week didn't fully just take the air out of the balloon, I don't know what could have. That is just like you go out, you're not going to play in the playoffs for the first time in forever. And then, even your backup quarterback now is injured and can't play. It is definitely no good for sure. Again, we just leave the warning out there to everyone. You can be up 21 points in the fourth quarter and still get backdoored whenever it is a 13.5 number. If Kansas City just tries to go for, an absolutely unnecessary 2-point conversion and all of that, which we see these teams do sometimes. And so just know that you can be up 21 and have definitely the right side of this game, of this ticket, of this bet, and still get caught from behind.
Yeah, it's fair. It's a ton of points in the NFL. But man, there was a point last week where it was 2-0 Titans, and I wasn't sweating, bud.
Yeah.
I felt good. It's just it's not just that both Mahomes and Minshew are hurt. The entire offensive line was wrecked before Mahomes even got hurt. There are guys banged up on defense. The defense was below average for a pretty long stretch here. It's just the Chiefs as constructed for this week might actually be 32 out of 32 in the NFL at this point. So if you don't want to lay that many points, I got some props too if you want, man. It's Christmas night, man. The kids have played with their toys. I'm ready to go.
What are you firing here from a prop perspective?
All right. So just full transparency. When we recorded this show, it was Tuesday. We don't have any Chiefs props out yet, but I fired some Broncos stuff in the market, and it's based on the angle that I think there's a few things mispriced with Pat Bryant out for the Broncos. Now, Pat Bryant was one of their starting receivers, got hospitalized last week. Long story short, concussion. He's okay, but he's got a concussion. He's not going to play in this game. Back-to-back DNPs. He's not going to clear. There is, so, for the video side, we're going to pull up SharpStack here, but on the audio side, I'll kind of walk you through this. What I'm seeing in the receiving yards market is a situation where actually Marvin Mims is being ticked up a little bit in a lot of these props as the potential number 3 wide receiver, when in reality, we actually had a game a couple of weeks ago where Pat Bryant also missed that game, and it was Lil Jordan Humphrey who took the majority of the snaps in place of Pat Bryant. And he's being lined at about 16.5 yards. I actually like his receptions prop better. I bet Lil Jordan Humphrey at over 1.5 receptions at plus money. I like that look. And then I think the other potential effect here of Pat Bryant being out is maybe a couple extra targets for Troy Franklin, who is the former Oregon receiver, played with Bo Nix at Oregon. He's already got chemistry with him. We saw a couple more targets go his way in that game that Pat Bryant missed. The angle I like for him is in the longest reception market. He is being lined for over 16.5 for longest reception for Troy Franklin. He's been doing that consistently. 5 of his last 6 games, he's had more than 16.5 yards for his longest reception. And he's had 17+ yard long reception in 10 of his 15 games this year. So I like that look as well. And lastly, we'll go back to the receiving yards market, Matt. And it's their starting running back, RJ Harvey. Now, this one I think is the riskiest of the 3. This could be a very, very, very positive game state where they don't have to throw it a ton. And maybe they don't have to check it down to RJ Harvey as much, but he's being lined at 15.5 receiving yards in this game where he's the bell cow back at this point in this offense with J.K. Dobbins injured. And since Dobbins has been out of the lineup, RJ Harvey has gone over 15.5 receiving yards in 4 of 5 games. His target count in those games, 3, 4, 6, 1, and 5. I don't think it's a lot to ask for him to get the 16 yards in this game, even though they are huge favorites.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe the way that they get there is by, maybe they get to the point of covering by utilizing him, and so there's one way to look at it there. He's just, man, you kind of watch him, you can see he might be one of those dudes that just has it.
He's athletic.
Yeah.
AF, man, that's for sure. The one critique of him is that he has some hard time reading blocks and vision between the tackles. But certainly in the passing game, when they've gotten the ball in his hands, I mean, Sean Payton was making Alvin Kamara comps before the season started, and I'm sure he doesn't do that lightly. Like, this guy is a complete back for sure.
When the Chiefs props hit, guys out there, if you're, they'll be there. As you're listening to this, I am, unless the numbers are just ridiculously low, I'm playing unders on any Chiefs rushing anything. So
Yeah.
It's
And don't think you're being cute with, like, listen, I'm kind of looking into a crystal ball here, Matt. Tell me if you disagree.
mm,
Don't think you're being cute with Travis Kelce props that he's going to get all the targets now, yada, yada, yada. Like, it's all going to be baked in
yeah.
with whatever they line Travis Kelce at.
I mean, but man, let me tell you, the rushing props, it's one, they utilize multiple backs anyway, and two, it's just like they're not going to be able to run for any success whatsoever in this thing. Like,
Also, not a game, I think, Matt, where you want to bet multiple anytime touchdowns, because this could just be a shortened game where we're just bleeding clock. And how many touchdowns could there possibly be in this game?
if you're listening to us on Talk 1041 or 9:30 a.m. WKCT in Bowling Green, you can still head down there and take in the game. It'll be fun no matter what at Circa. So like, even if we think the game's a snoozer, you can bet it 5,500 different ways, and there's still some food and booze down there as well.
And you know what, man? I ate here at the Sportsbook last week for that Rams Seahawks game. I don't give this type of praise lightly, because I am a stickler for good buffalo wings.
Mm.
These were killer buffalo wings at this Sportsbook, man, at Circa Sportsbook Kentucky. So I will be back for the wings here at Circa Sportsbook. They were awesome.
The Houston Texans are on the road at the LA Chargers in a monster game all of a sudden. And it is 2.5 in favor of the Chargers at home over the Texans. 39.5 is the prevailing total here in this one. Steven, what a game here in week number 17. I mean, this Houston Texans team, back from the dead, beginning of the season, couldn't do anything on the offensive side of the ball. They were fortunate to have one of those early buys, and ever since that buy, they've really figured some stuff out here and turned it around. We're able to get it done last week without Woody Marks out there. Obviously, they were just massive favorites in that game. But it looks like he should be back this week for them as well. On the Chargers side of things, despite not having an offensive line at all, Justin Herbert continues to just do Justin Herbert things. This defense is still playing at a pretty high level. And so this team looks like they are just rocking and rolling as well. I am super excited about this one on Saturday.
Yeah, I can't wait either. With that being said, there's going to be a lot of games this week with just the nature of the holidays and logistics and us having to record this show earlier than we would in a typical week, where we don't have full injury reports. And we would advise you guys to go and do your own research and double check some of these key injuries across all these games in week 17, right? And the Texans are one in particular here where we only have the Tuesday injury report, with this being a Saturday game. Their number one shutdown corner, Derek Stingley, was a DMP with an oblique. You got to keep an eye on both of their tackles. Their starting left and right tackle are on the injury report to start the week with a DMP. So I got to caveat that, Matt. Mm-hmm. But if this trends the right way the rest of the week, because we're at the point in the season where, like, it doesn't take much for the coaches to just give a guy a DMP to start the practice week. So yeah. I can't draw firm conclusions about a DMP on the first injury report of the week. But if they have their tackles and if Stingley is playing, I like the Texans in this game. I'm not overreacting to what the Chargers did against the Cowboys defense last week, a Cowboys defense that showed us a couple flashes when they won a couple of big games to stay in it. And then for 3 straight weeks now, if you look at the past 3 weeks, they are the worst defense in the league by the advanced metric EPA per play, and it's by a wide margin. They just went right back to being the worst defense in the league. So I can't really take much away from Herbert doing that versus what he looked like the couple of weeks prior. So I like the Texans here, man. I think this pass rush, Matt, against this Chargers offensive line, patchwork offensive line, is a huge mismatch in this game. I'm just trying to figure out how best I want to bet it. I want to wait on the injury report. It might be just taking them straight up to win the game. It might be teasing them up to at least 7.5 or better in a 2-leg teaser for me with the Texans.
Yeah. In my opinion, an incredibly awesome teaser leg, just because this defense is so good that they're not going to lose at margin. So even if they lose, they're not going to lose at margin. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. It's a pretty early lean there on the Texans for me as well, as opposed to the Charger side. I do believe that you can get away with having a turnstile offensive line against some teams. Houston, I would not put in that category of teams you're going to be able to get away with it. That said, that also means Justin Herbert rushing props like all day long. Justin Herbert is a very, very good runner of the ball as it is anyway. And I imagine they are going to be in the backfield early and often here, Steven. And so he is going to be running for his life. And you know what? Sometimes he does that very successfully. I like Herbert rush yards here for sure.
I like that look. He's been under pressure constantly since they've had Joe Alt go out for the rest of the season. So don't hate that look at all.
Baltimore Ravens on the road at the Green Bay Packers. This is 2.5 in favor of the Packers. 40.5 is the prevailing total. We do not know who's going to play quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love is in concussion protocol. Malik Willis has a shoulder injury, so that is to be determined. This Baltimore team just continues week after week. Finally, Steven, finally, this team is not favored when they should not be favored. We keep screaming about this over and over again. This week it finally paid off as we're like, they should not be favored. They should not be the favorite in this game. Should be mentioned as well that Lamar Jackson is beat up as well. So it is just a very, very difficult handicap, not knowing who is going to be under center for either one of these squads.
I got to tell you, man, despite the fact that the Patriots were down 11 in the fourth quarter last week against the Ravens, I still felt like our Patriots bets were the right side. And it was that stupid fake punt by Vrabel that changed everything. Yeah. So I felt like we got the right result in that one, and we were right about the Ravens, regardless of whatever this market steam has been with the Ravens. This got all the way out to like 4.5 near kickoff before some buyback. So somebody in the market still loves the Ravens. I don't know why. I don't get it. You and I have disagreed with the market on that, and we've been right about it. And in this case, with all the quarterback situations, you have to decide if this number, like what the number I'm looking at right now as we record this show on Tuesday, is that Green Bay is -2.5. And I think this number is much closer to a Malik Willis versus Tyler Huntley number. And I think if you believe Jordan Love is going to play in this game, then you got to bet Packers right now. Now, we only know that they both got limited practices. Malik Willis and Jordan Love got in limited practices, and I have no idea if Lamar Jackson is going to play. But I think Jordan Love's going to play in this game. He had a concussion. At this point in the season, guys clear concussion protocol a lot faster than they do earlier in the season, and this is an important game for the Packers. It's a straight gamble, Matt, on what I think the quarterback matchup's going to be. I thought it would be Jordan Love versus Tyler Huntley. I could be wrong, but I thought Packers -2.5 early in the week was a gamble worth taking.
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely get it. This is a bad game for me just overall because I have been down all year on both of these teams comparatively to the market, right? Like I have been down on the Ravens and the Packers all season long comparatively to everybody else out there. And with the quarterback situation, with the stuff that's kind of going on with all this, I mean, it is worth mentioning, I guess, Stephen, too, that Green Bay still has to like win their last two games. If they lose their last two games and the Lions win their last two games, and the Packers could be out of the playoffs.
Yeah, huge game this week for sure.
Like it is. So if we talk from a motivational standpoint, I mean, the Packers cannot mess around here.
And they 100%, I guess 99% should have won that game against the Bears if they just catch an onside kick. So I can't downgrade them because a 1-in-12 successful onside kick went their way. So that's, I guess it's not 99%. I guess it's whatever 1 out of 12 is.
Arizona is on the road at Cincinnati. This is 7. It is juiced. It might hit 7.5 in favor of the home Bengals. 53.5 is our total here in this one. Steven, all we know is Arizona doesn't have much of a team, but they'll just let Jacoby Brissett drift back and throw it 1,000,000 times a game. And he usually ends up finding some people. I mean, that's kind of like the only real look here for me in this one. That said, I get it. I understand Cincinnati's defense isn't any good. And I understand Joe Burrow and them are good, but 54 points. I mean, 53.5, you got to get to 54 points in this game. Like, I don't know if Arizona really does their part here. I mean, it seems like the formula for Brissett has started to be figured out at least a little bit, which is he just goes back and he just spams 3 dudes and that's it. Like every single target goes to Wilson or Harrison or the tight end. So I mean, it's just like for me, I can't get to 54. So I think I'm going to have to put a little bit of an underplay in here on this, even though I know that both of these defenses stink.
I'm glad you said the tight end, because last week I was very annoyed that it was a lot of Higgins and not enough McBride last week for some stuff I had going on with McBride. But to your point, I'm going to go down narrative street here a little bit. And again, if you disagree, I want to hear it. I felt like whatever was left for the Cardinals last week, whatever their A game actually is, I feel like we got it last week against the Falcons. Got off to a good start, played as well as they could, succumbed in the end, lost by a touchdown.
Lose 3 more starters on defense, by the way.
Yes. I mean, what is left?
I mean, in the middle of the game, like if this team hadn't been like snake bit enough, 3 more starters go down in the game.
Yeah. And probably their most important one, their awesome rookie defensive tackle, Walter Nolan. So now it's Christmas week and they have to get on a plane to go almost across the country to Cincinnati. And it's a weather game potentially here with possible rain in the forecast, maybe some wind, although it will be a warm day. I mean, what is left here for them? So I don't really want to lay 7 with the Bengals defense, but I will absolutely tease the Bengals in this game, Matt. Mm-hmm. That's where I landed on it.
Yeah, this seems like a good teaser partner for the game that we talked about earlier with this, because it's just I know that they're not infinitely talented on the Cincinnati side of things because their offensive line is pretty shoddy. And, you can say what you kind of want to about the backfield. Chase Brown's fine, I guess, whatever. And certainly on the defense, they don't have any players, but you could say the exact same thing about Arizona. I mean, like Arizona just doesn't have any dudes. And if you're going to talk about the dudes that you do have, then Cincinnati wins by a landslide because you have Joe Burrow and you have T. Higgins and you have Jamar Chase. And so like they win by a landslide in the couple of players that they do actually still have. An Arizona defense that was getting battered anyway, and then loses 3 more starters. I just don't know. This seems like a team at home, Burrow getting questioned every single time he steps in front of a microphone, whether he wants to leave town or not, all of these things like that. I mean, this
is
like
weird, by the way.
Great teaser leg. I know we don't like I know we don't like high totals for teasers, but like, I think the total's this high because they're scared Cincinnati might score 40 on their own.
Yeah. What Cincinnati media is asking if Joe Burrow wants to leave, by the way. Like, it's weird to me, but yes, good. Back on track here. This is not sports talk radio. We're trying to make money. Bengals teaser leg.
Seattle is on the road at Carolina in another massive game as Carolina is back, your leader in the NFL and in the NFC South. And it is, look, I mean, a win's a win's a win. And I mean, they can still lose a division if they can't get it done against the Bucks in week 18. But I mean, listen, this Carolina team has certainly exceeded expectations that I had for them this year for sure. It is a full 7.5 in favor of Seattle. 42.5 is the total here in this one. Of course, we talked about this game already, the wild, wacky finish to the Seattle comeback win, 2-point conversion over the Rams on last Thursday night. So a little mini buy action here for Seattle as they head over to Carolina.
This is a pass for me. I don't really know what to make of this line. I don't know what to make of the Panthers week in and week out, especially when they're stepping up in class here to face one of the 2 best teams in the NFL who are still playing for a 1 seed. This spread, when they played the next most similar team to the Seahawks in market ratings, when they played the Rams on November the 30th, the Panthers were more like a 9-point home dog. And now it's 7.5. So I know they beat the Rams, but that was also a weird rainy game, a lot going on. It seems to me, my eyes tell me the Panthers definitely play better at home than they do on the road in most cases. But that's, just a little bit of narrative by me. It's a pass for me. 2 teams playing hard. I don't know what to do about 7.5. I'll sit back and watch here and hope my Seattle division futures stay on track.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing for me is I do believe there's a world that exists that this Seattle defense gets fully back on track this week. I mean, look, they went up against Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua. I mean, like they've basically owned every defense they played all season long, and so I think there's a world that exists where Seattle's defense gets back on track, and maybe 42.5 is too high, but certainly something I'm going to dig into a little bit further in all of that. But I Carolina's just not a high scoring team as it is anyway. And honestly, Seattle really isn't either. I mean, like the way that they kind of want to play isn't really lighting up the scoreboard. And so I think there's a play to be made there on the under 42.5.
The under is interesting because this is the best run stop unit in the league in Seattle's defense. And we know the Panthers rely heavily on that with Rico Dowdle and to take some pressure off of Bryce Young. So, and then if they try to pass the ball, surely Seattle and Mike McDonald, who's one of the best defensive game planners in the league, will have some type of answer for Teteroa McMillan.
In a game that I sure didn't think was going to mean as much as it did. And if it did, I would have thought that the spread would have been different. It's only a 3-point spread for Pittsburgh on the road against Cleveland, a massive game for Pittsburgh as they continue to win. And if they continue to win, they're going to be in the playoffs. And so here we are, 3-point favorites on the road over the Cleveland Browns. 33.5 is the prevailing total. And Steven, I mean, dare I say, Shedeur has kind of started to look a little bit like an NFL quarterback. I mean, he's still sure he's going to make like your typical rookie mistakes and all of that, but I don't know, man. I think he's like light years ahead of what I saw when Dylan Gabriel was under center for this Cleveland team. And I mean, I don't know if they don't have somebody that they can at least try and give a real go at it next year and see if it works out.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, of the ones that have played for Cleveland, that would certainly be the one to at least keep through the offseason and see what you have for next year. If you're going to draft another quarterback highly, he at least throws the ball downfield, unlike Dylan Gabriel. So give him credit for that. As far as this game, this is a schedule quirk, right? We have a situation where the NFL scheduled the game in this division. So the Baltimore Ravens play on Saturday. We don't know if Lamar Jackson's going to play or not. If he doesn't play, then surely Green Bay is likely to win that game. If Green Bay beats Baltimore, then the Steelers have already won the division on Sunday and don't have to play any of their starters against the Browns. So I think that is why this spread has been bet so hard on Cleveland. This was 4.5. I bet 4.5 at the start of the week on Cleveland, and by Tuesday it's at 3. And some more money came in the hour before I made all the graphics for the show. It went from 3.5 to 3, which is the most significant move of the whole week so far. So that's the situation we're seeing here. It's another Cleveland game, so there's some potential weather in the forecast. That's why the total's so low at 33, 34. That's a preseason total because it might be Mason Rudolph against Shore Sanders.
Yeah, we're getting like low 40s, 75% chance of rain. And then moderate to moderate, steady wind to strong gusts. But again, this is a Tuesday forecast, and we know that this can definitely change, but just something to keep in mind. And if you're going to play this one, keep an eye on that well, because that can certainly mean one way or the other.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if somehow the Ravens win on Saturday, this is going to bloom back out to probably the 4.5 that we saw early in the week. But I think a lot of people are betting this, just predicting that the Packers will beat the Ravens, and we'll see whether that's true or not. If Lamar Jackson plays, that we probably get a little more movement on the Steelers because the Ravens will be more likely to win if Lamar Jackson plays. These two are correlated. I will tell you, Circa, unlike some other books, is smart enough to recognize this, because I went to try to parlay Packers money line with Browns money line, and they didn't allow it because they recognize the correlation. Now, a lot of other books didn't recognize it, and I was able to get a plus 350 money line parlay in on that correlated outcome, because if the Packers win The current money line on the Browns is not going to be anywhere near what it is. So something to think about.
It is worth noting Quinshon Judkins out for the season for this Browns team. He's been arguably their best player, or at least close to their best player. So he's done for the year. I am not of the mindset that they're going to sit players in week 17.
The Browns?
No, that the Steelers are.
It would be it'd be dumb if they didn't, honestly, against this ferocious defense that's all out there trying to break this record to get Myles Garrett the sack. I mean, this defense is all in this week. The Browns defense is all in trying to get Myles Garrett this sack record. I can guarantee you that. So with a 42-year-old quarterback and an already banged up offensive line, I think it would be very unwise to play starters, especially in a game where DK Metcalf is suspended as well. That's another reason for the line movement, I'm sure. So
yes.
If they've already won the division, I think it would be stupid to play the starters.
And the suspension has been upheld, so his regular season is over for the Steelers. So he will not play the next 2 weeks for them as well. Very interesting game. Again, keep an eye on all the developments there. And that one, another interesting game here is the New Orleans Saints on the road at the Tennessee Titans. The Saints have been playing very, very well, but Steven, we get one win out of the Titans, and this thing's only 2.5. And I mean, it's like, one win from the Titans. Line's only 2.5 in favor of the Saints. 39.5 is our total here in this one. Man, Tyler Shuck has actually looked like he can play a little bit of football, which I thought was really interesting. Pretty annoying that the Saints last week kind of spammed Taysom Hill as opposed to giving the ball to Estime and all of that, but it was potentially his last game in front of the fans at the Superdome. And so Kellen Moore was trying to do him a solid and all of that and whatever. I don't think that's going to be the case this week. I think they get back to just playing normal, straight up football. And I expect Estime to be your lead back there for New Orleans. What say you at under a field goal on the road at Tennessee?
I said I need Kellen Moore's number so I can text him that I got Tyler Shuck 250-1 Rookie of the Year ticket, and I don't need Taysom Hill throwing any more touchdown passes this year. That's first of all. Yeah, man, I don't understand why this wouldn't be 3.
Yeah.
Why? Because the Titans went out and beat the 33rd best team in the NFL last week. Like, what is this? So it's another weather game potentially, though. Again, not cold, but rain and wind potentially in this forecast for Tennessee, which could muck things up a little bit for a dome team like the Saints. So that's something to look out for. That rain is why I haven't bet team total over on the Saints right now. This total is very low. I mean, we're sitting in the 30s right now, 38.5, 39.5, which means even with the favorite, you can get over 20.5 on the Saints. I'm just waiting to see if we get a little better weather forecast closer to kickoff. Then I will really like the Saints, whether it's just 2.5 or team total over at 20.5.
It sure seems like him and Olave have kind of figured things out together as well. And yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's a number too high for me, unless the weather report just gets super, super terrible by the time game day rolls around. Like, I don't know if there's going to be a total that's too high for me not to want to get a piece of Olave here against this Tennessee secondary.
Yeah, 100%. He's balling out, and the only thing that's ever stopped him is concussions, in my opinion, or just like below the threshold quarterback play. So the talent has always been there for Olave.
Tampa Bay Bucks are on the road at the Miami Dolphins. This is 5.5 in favor of the Bucks, 46.5 the prevailing total out there. Looks like the Dolphins are going to go with Quinn Ewers again this week. The Bucks, of course, despite the fact they are under 500, are not dead yet, so they can still get into the playoffs. So this is, still a very important game for them and trying to figure out what's been going wrong for them. I know for one thing, Emeka Egbuka has just been a ghost in this offense for the past month and a half. I don't know if he hit a rookie wall, Steven. I don't know if everything changed when Godwin got back in there and whatever, but he has been making almost no impact at all for this team. And look, with Quinn Ewers last week, yeah, the game got away from him or whatever, but I mean, it's kind of like you said a little bit earlier with some of these other quarterbacks. I mean, like with Shedeur, you said. I mean, Quinn Ewers stood in there and threw the ball down the field and threw it confidently and did whatever. And, I mean, it's he can't play defense. The defense gives up 1 million points to Joe Burrow and company. Like a lot of teams are going to do that. I don't know. I thought he, for a dude that made his first start in the NFL as a 7th round rookie, I didn't think it was like the worst thing in the world.
And I think it's pretty telling that you get that big of a blowout against the Bengals, and yet we haven't gotten up to the keyish number of 6 on this on the spread. There hasn't been a ton of interest in the Bucks early in the week. I agree with you. I went and checked under the hood on Quinn Ewers. It was funny. I was saying, hey, I texted you. I was like, hey, he's playing pretty well. He's like 10 of 12, and then the interceptions start coming. But at the end of the day, he was basically a 0 in terms of EPA. That's a lot better than a lot of the bad quarterbacks we've seen so far this year. Mm-hmm. And on a down basis, he was 47%. That's like league average. Mm-hmm. So I am not overreacting to the final score of that first Quinn Ewers game. And I've heard the narrative again this week. Well, it's a rookie quarterback playing a Todd Bowles defense. This pass defense has been hideous for a big stretch of the second half of the season. Lower scoring game last week against Carolina, but I think that's just the nature of their offense. Tenero McMillan got what he needed in that game. I have major question marks still about this Bucs pass defense. I have question marks about the consistency of the offense. This is a pass for me, but I agree with you on Quinn Ewers. I'm not overreacting to him losing that game last week.
Yeah, I mean, again, I thought all in all, I thought he was fine. And the whole rookie quarterback against Todd Bowles defense thing, whatever, you know what? 2 weeks ago, there was a rookie quarterback against the Todd Bowles defense, and they went and beat them on the road. And that was the New Orleans Saints, who went in and took care of the Bucs on the road with a rookie quarterback. So, I mean, it's if this thing gets on the other side of 6, I'm going to play Miami. I'm just going to do it.
I'll do it with you. I'm in with you.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Like, if this thing gets on the other side of 6, I'm definitely going to do that. Jacksonville is on the road at Indy. Indy's playoff hopes are all but dead. Jacksonville continues to roll along. 6.5 point favorites on the road against Indy. 47.5 out to 48.5 in the market as far as the total goes. This Jacksonville team, I don't think people can doubt it anymore, Steven. Everyone wants to pick hole, wants to sit there and nitpick and poke holes and everything and all. Well, guess what? We're in week 17. There's no more sample size left. It's here. This is what you get to deal with. And Jacksonville continues to go out and look like a legitimate team. And Trevor Lawrence is looking like the dude that they thought he was going to be coming out of Clemson. I mean, the guy is like making good throws and making good decisions and utilizing his legs when he needs to. So you're going to go back and look at that box score from last week, Steven. You're going to say, dude, he only went for 20 yards, 6 rushes for 20 yards. Well, guess what? 4 of the rushes were for first downs, and 1 of them was for a touchdown. Like, he's utilizing his legs when it matters, right? And that is what is more important to me than someone who just takes off every single time the pocket collapses or whatever. So I don't know, man. I'm a believer in the Jags. I'm a believer in Liam Cohen. I'm a believer in what he's got going on there with all of this. It's a big-ish number, but I think all of the novelty and everything with the Colts kind of got exposed this past week.
Well, I need to know a few things about this game. I'm guessing Phillip Rivers will start again. I think he's playing well enough. I don't know why you would bench him. I need to know if their cornerbacks are playing. I need to know if Sauce Gardner and Charvarius Ward are playing. I don't think either of them are on IR. I'll double check that. But
yeah, Charvarius Ward's on IR.
He is on IR. All right. Sauce is not, though, I think.
Yeah, he's not.
Okay. So I don't know why they would bring any of these guys back at this point. They're basically out of it, but their offensive line is also really banged up at both tackle positions. Their center got hurt in the middle of that game against the 49ers. This is getting really rough. So
they couldn't run the ball at all because no one respects Phillip Rivers throwing the ball deep. So it's just like they're loading the box up. So Jonathan Taylor literally can't do anything.
Yeah. Against the 49ers defense, which they should have been able to run the ball against because they're out of players in the front 7, essentially. So it's Jags or nothing for me here. I want to double down on what you said about their bigger picture hopes here. The AFC, it could be anybody, man, at this point. I really don't have any firm grasp on who it could be. If we're doing a draft right now of you got to pick the team from the AFC to go to the Super Bowl, I think the only team I wouldn't pick is the Steelers. And everybody else, I would believe it if you said they're the AFC representative. And I think the Jags are at or near the top of that list at this point.
I do too. I mean, we just have to evolve, right? And that's the thing, is like, that's what I think makes good bettors and good handicappers and good whatever, is that it's not admitting that you're wrong, or it's not admitting fault if you just evolve your opinion on something. And like, you can say, well, I wasn't sure about the Jacksonville team, the schedule. I've got a pretty healthy body of work of Trevor Lawrence, kind of like not being able to get it done, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can say all that, and I think that's all perfectly fine, while also going, well, he does have a new coach that everyone really, really respects, a new coach that seems like he has just gotten better the more games he's gotten under his belt in the NFL as well. And oh, by the way, they went and traded for Jacoby Myers, who has come up huge for them. Britton Strange came out of nowhere to be a big weapon for them at the tight end position. Brian Thomas is back catching balls, and they've got a double, and they had a two-headed monster at running back, but like, I think there's a lot to like about that. And oh, by the way, the defense is really good. So I'm with you 100%. I mean, if you told me the Jags were the representative up against the Rams or the Seahawks or the Niners or whoever it is from the NFC, or the Eagles, I mean, they're playing better too. Like, it would not surprise me in the least bit.
And I think maybe the most important thing for the Jags or any of these AFC teams' hopes, a path where they don't have to play Patrick Mahomes, they don't have to play MVP Lamar Jackson, they don't have to play Joe Burrow, and they get to play Josh Allen with the worst roster we've seen around him at this point, with no wide receivers, with a defense that looks old and slow. And against good teams, they've had to just win in shootouts. So that is why this is legitimate, in my opinion. All those things you said are correct, but I think just the fact that all these other teams are going in with quarterbacks who haven't done it before in the playoffs, other than Josh Allen, again, though, with the worst version of his roster we've seen, that is the key to all of this for the Jaguars' hopes.
And I will say this as well. I wish I could buy like futures on the Jags, because remember, they're going to get Travis Hunter back. Yeah. Like, they now have almost are able to like luxury draft this year, because that defense is very, very good. You've got a bunch of skill position guys. Like, you can almost take best available player, and that's a really good spot to be in as well. And so I don't know. I'd like to buy like futures for 2 years from now, like on the Jags, if I possibly could, but really do like them here in this one. The only thing I will mention, Steven, and again, we're doing this early, guys, so just keep a watch out. Anthony Richardson did practice last week, and he was back at practice. I don't know, since the team is basically dead, if it makes any sense to bring him back this year or not, but that is at least on the table. He did practice in a limited fashion every day last week as he recovers from that eye injury. And so that's the other thing too. It wasn't like it was a leg injury or an arm injury or whatever. It was an eye injury.
And I would be shocked. I think that decision would come from either the GM or the owner at this point. There was a NFL Daily podcast that came out and was citing sources inside the Colts coaching staff that they were worried about their job security, which stunned me, because I mean, I thought surely this coaching staff showed for the majority of the season, when they had a legitimate starting quarterback, that they did a fantastic job this year. So that shocked me, but that also told me that this coaching staff is probably all in the past 2 weeks to try to win, regardless of their playoff hopes. So if it's the coaching staff's decision, I still think it's Phillip Rivers.
New England Patriots are on the road at the New York Football Jets. Here's another big double-digit spread for us this week. Anywhere from 12.5 all the way to 13.5. 43 is the prevailing total, though you can find 42.5 if you're looking to play an over. This New England team continues to go out and just look really, really impressive. They do it again this past week. They're not a team that's just abundantly talented either, which is actually what should be scary about this with the coaching staff and what they've been able to do with the players that they have. And the Jets are just dead team walking. By the way, they put Fields on IR today, so he's done for the season. So you don't have to worry about him coming back to play quarterback or anything like that. Looks like they're just going to keep rolling with Cook. And that's why we're sitting at basically 2 touchdowns here, Steven.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to just get on my soapbox for a minute and say if Mike Vrabel wins Coach of the Year, I'm going to be very annoyed because what exactly is he bringing to the table here? I know like he's brought the coaching staff and big turnaround from win-loss record a year ago. But like this is so clearly to me, Drake May and Henderson and Josh McDaniels calling plays. Like he calls that stupid fake punt last week. He still, before the concussion for Travion Henderson, is still, for whatever reason, married to Ramondre Stevenson and giving him too many touches. So I'm going to be really annoyed if Vrabel wins Coach of the Year, first of all. Hard pass on this game for me. Too many injuries for New England. If they were fully assembled, I'd be in. But at the start of the week, concussions for Travion Henderson and Kayshon Boutte. Demario Douglas left with a hamstring. Right tackle Moses had a knee, was coming in and out of the game. Their left tackle Munford, who was like the backup to the backup, he had an issue. Their defensive line, Tonga and Farmer, had issues. They did activate the practice window for Milton Williams, but that does not mean he's going to play this week. We'll see. Spillane was 3 times DM. Like, there's just a lot here for a huge spread in a game where they're probably just trying to get out of here with a win, regardless of how many points it is, even though Brady Cook is horrendously bad and the Jets are clearly trying to just not, well, let's just say not that interested in winning at this point. So it's a big pass for me in this one.
Yeah, it's a deal for me where I'm just, same deal. Like not my type of game to bet. And I just hate these where, especially a team like New England, who really does actually have motivation to get some dudes on the bench. Cause like you said, they did get beat up pretty good and they understand they're making the playoffs. So you got to be as healthy as humanly possible for that. So yeah, it's pretty hard pass here for me. Maybe there'll be maybe at some point a player prop might like peek its head out or something as something very, very obvious, depending on how this injury report shakes out, but we'll have to wait on that. The New York Football Jets are making the trip out here to Las Vegas. 1.5 is the spread here. And in a game that neither team wants to win, Steven, this is for the number 1 draft pick. So I don't know. What do you do? How do they try to tie in this thing?
No way Pete Carroll is trying to lose a football game. Absolutely no way that Mr. Rah-Rah leadership, do it the right way, Pete Carroll, like for all his flaws in actually coaching and scheming and picking players and making 4th down decisions, he still wants to win the game. I can't say that's the case for the Giants at this point, Matt. I can't. Did you see the play calling for the Giants last week?
Yeah. Here's the thing. It almost feels like to me that with the Giants, knowing the season's dead, knowing what their coaching situation is, knowing whatever, it's like it's a much more attractive job if you have the number 1 pick too. Like,
oh yeah.
Like, because then you can trade it for a boatload of stuff because you don't need a quarterback and like all. I mean, it's just there's a lot to like about having that number 1 pick. I'm with you. I mean, I would only lay it with Vegas, honestly, mainly because I think that they are just at this point very, very minimally, maybe more talented than the Giants are. Like again, very minimally, but at least minimally more talented than the Giants are. They at least have a couple of dudes. Like Genty is a dude. Brock Bowers is a dude.
Showed us a pulse last week against the Texans.
I mean, they at least have 2 dudes. The Giants don't even have any dudes.
Yeah. Wan'Dale Robinson is like half a dude.
Yeah. He's a 10th of a dude. He's a quarter dude. Like, I mean, so
yeah,
I don't know. It's Vegas it's Vegas or pass, but I mean, then I'd have to watch the game. And so then,
It's also an awful price at this point. The Raiders were plus money on the money line to start the week, and this has been sniffed out, in my opinion, and now we're at 1.5, which would have been crazy to think about a few weeks ago. So I'll just red flag it as if you think that you're getting a value on the Giants, I would go check the play-by-play of the first 20 plays of the Giants last week and tell me what you find, because That was not a serious football team last week.
We get a banger in the afternoon window, followed by a banger on Sunday Night Football. We get Philadelphia and Buffalo, 4:25 Eastern start here. This is 1.5 in favor of Buffalo at home over the Eagles. 43.5 is your prevailing total out there in the market. Steven, this has been all Eagle money coming in hard and fast here. I get it. This Eagles team looks like they are playing a little bit better over the last couple of weeks. Also, this Buffalo team continues to get nicked up in spots that are very important. They have no one to throw the football to. Keon Coleman, another healthy scratch this week, so you can go ahead and kiss him goodbye. He won't be on the team next year. Mm-hmm. And outside of James Cook, who, by the way, is awesome, outside of James Cook, there's not a lot to love besides, obviously Josh Allen. We love Josh Allen, but I'm talking about as far as playmakers for him, there's not really a lot to love. So I understand the Eagles money early and often here. I totally get it.
Agreed. While this was in teaser range, I teased the Eagles with the Texans. I don't know if it's coming back. You need at least 1.5 here to get this up to 7.5 for a good teaser leg. So I don't know if it's coming back. Keep an eye out on it. I have no interest in coming back and buying low on the Bills because I don't know how injured Josh Allen is with that foot at this point. He got banged up at the end of that Browns game, and he was not good the rest of the way. And this team is Josh Allen. The defense is not great. He's been carrying them almost single-handedly in some of these games. So zero interest in Buffalo in this game because of that injury uncertainty with Josh Allen. And potential chance that Lane Johnson coming back for the Eagles, that would be massive for this offensive line. The splits are astronomical for this Eagles offense in the recent years when he's on and off the field. So we'll see. I don't know if I'm crowning the Eagles after beating a couple of bad teams, but this is not good timing for the Bills for this game.
I'm not crowning them either, but what I will say, Steven, is just it seems like they kind of started getting back to what they do well and what got them to the Super Bowl last year. And Jalen Hurts is running the ball a little bit more. They're featuring Saquon a little bit more, but not just only on first down. It's not like, oh, everybody in the world knows you're running on 1st and 10, so now you're 2nd and 8. Like, it seems like they just kind of got back to the script a little bit the last couple of weeks. And maybe that, like we said, it was a get right spot against the Raiders, and maybe that was just what they needed to kind of figure out what they need to do to get back in the mix as far as a team that we actually think could do something in the postseason.
Yeah, I agree with it. I saw the same thing, and I think it is certainly a reason for optimism. And I certainly think that this Bills defense is not the one to probably slow the running game down this week. I'll decide later if I think this running game will stand up against a good run defense like Seattle in the playoffs. That's a discussion for another day, but I don't think this Bills defense is the one that's going to slow it down. That's for sure.
Like we said, from one afternoon banger right into an awesome one here on Sunday Night Football, the Chicago Bears on the road at the San Francisco 49ers. This is a field goal in favor of the 49ers over the Bears. 52.5 is our total. And I actually agree with this total here, Steven. I mean, this San Francisco, as good as the San Francisco offense is, the defense is just as bad. And so I get why the total is what the total is. I mean, they go out, absolutely light up the Colts left and right, but then we're giving it up to the Colts too. I mean, like, it was, and in comes arguably a better offense now in Chicago. So I get the high total here. I agree with it. That said, at the end of the day, I still think San Francisco is the better team. The problem is this is already a juicy 3. Like, this is going to kick at 3.5. I mean, I'm pretty positive this is going to kick at 3.5. So it's a deal of at 3.5. It's a different animal. I don't know. So at 3.5, am I more interested in Chicago now? So it's a super, super interesting handicap given what the number is sitting right now.
I am a 49ers fan, and I have very strong opinions about this game, and they're not positive for the 49ers. If you look at what the 49ers have done on this winning streak, and really for the whole season, they had one of the easiest schedules in the NFL coming into the season by opponent win totals, and that's largely held up. The Patriots schedule wound up being a little easier, but I mean, if we look at this stretch of games that they've won since getting their butts kicked by the LA Rams in week 10, they've beaten Arizona, they beat Carolina, which I think is decent. Also Bryce Young kind of, urinated down his leg in that game. He was awful in that game. Cleveland, Tennessee, Phillip Rivers, and that defense without their top 2 corners. So not really impressed by that. I think this is a big step up in class to this offense for the Chicago Bears. If we look at the defenses in the league since week 9, the 49ers defense is really struggling. I mean, we're talking about a defense that is below average in a lot of advanced metrics, 18th by dropback success rate. Their rushing defense is dead last in the league in rushing success rate allowed at 52.4%. And now one of the elite rushing offenses in the NFL and the Chicago Bears are coming. They're going to get pushed around up front, and Ben Johnson's going to have an answer for this. So I think 3 or better is a good bet on the Bears. You might as well wait to see if 3.5 pops up to get on the other side of the key number. The points mean a little less when the total is this high. Matt, isn't there still room on this total? Like, let's think about this. If the Lions and Cowboys game had a total of 55, shouldn't these 2 defenses with these 2 offenses be near that number?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think this is totally justified, and I think that this is like a play for me on the over side of things. I mean, like, we know San Francisco is going to be able to play into the mid-20s, and we get on the right side of variance there. They play a little bit better than that, and Chicago should be able to fire right back at San Francisco. I think we, highest game of the week, all of those different things that you can bet, all those different little fun bets. I mean, I think this is the heavy favorite for all of those.
If you don't like betting spread and total from the same game, I would say just keep an eye out on the 49ers injury report. They were missing Ricky Pearsall last week. Don't know if he's going to play this week. And George Kittle had an ankle sprain against the Colts, and he's a little banged up. Don't know if he's going to play. Now, their backup, Jake Tongus, is actually pretty good. He's played very well this year in relief for George Kittle, but he's not George Kittle. So if Kittle misses, then I think this is an even better reason to hop on the Bears versus the total, where theoretically, if the 49ers are not fully assembled, I won't say theoretically. I remember in last 2 years when they were even missing one of their key weapons, the offense went down in efficiency. So that's something to keep an eye out here. If they're missing Kittle in this game, I think I would just want to take the Bears on the spread versus playing the total.
Steven, in our last 90 seconds here, the Rams are at the Falcons on Monday Night Football. This thing is 8.5 in favor of the Rams. 49.5 is our prevailing total, though there is a 50 out there. Very obvious teaser leg on the Rams. I know it's been cute that the Falcons have played hard here with Kirk Cousins at quarterback and all of that, and rah-rah and yada, 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 and all of that stuff. It doesn't matter. It's the Rams coming to town in a dome. They don't have to worry about weather. They still have Puka Nacua. Like, they're not losing this game. They're not losing this game.
Yeah, that's fair. If you want to take the teaser leg, that's fine. We'll be a little bit oppo then, because I took the 8 points with the Falcons. I love their pass rush. I'm concerned about the Rams being without their right guard and right tackle potentially in this game, and I'm concerned about Devontae Adams sitting again. So I'm not sure this is a spread where I want to lay it with the Rams going on the road with, granted, everything still to play for, but we're going to be oppo in this one. I think the Falcons are playing really well, and Kirk Cousins, since taking over as starter, is actually average or a little above average in the advanced metrics.
So you like this defense better than you like Seattle's defense? Because they lit up Seattle's defense without Devontae Adams. I was just curious.
We're running out of time, so it's a fair point.
Yeah, all right. Just wanted to throw that out there. No Devontae Adams. They Puka Nacua for 225. I guess
something more people to catch him passes.
It is one of those things. But listen, guys, a lot of intriguing games this week. A lot of games that mean a ton. And again, there are. Here we are. It's late December. There will be weather. There will be weather concerns. Go in. Make sure you take a look at the injury reports. Make sure you look at the weather reports as well before you make those final bets and those final decisions. TNF Live over on 4 for 4 to try out SharpStack. 7 days free, 25% off as well. For Steven, I'm Matt. Good luck on all your bets.